Hello, everyone, and today we are going to continue on the topic we started the last time. And the last time we talked about introduction to English language. And if you would recall, or probably let me give you a rapid summary, we talked about language and we gave a definition of language. That language is the use of a set of words, or it is the use of the combination of words to express or communicate ideas and thought via speaking and writing through the aid of a system that is generally accepted and understood by a people within a geographical range. And last time we said there was something that happened to be the most obligatory element in this definition or in that definition, and that was system. And talking about the system, we said the system was grammar. And now, according to the definition we gave the last time, what is grammar? Grammar is simply the set of rules that systematically guide the combination of words into larger linguistic elements. The combination of words into larger linguistic elements. And we talked about first language and second language, your L1 and your L2, that English is your second language, while your native language, the language you were born and raised with, is your first language. Just as we are learning about English now, it means that English is not our first language. Now, today, talking about those linguistic elements or language elements, we said the last time, and I'm going to say again, that every language has its own grammar. And this grammar happens to be the rules guiding the use of the words that reside in that language. And in English, there are certain linguistic elements that you need to understand. When you understand the way these linguistic elements operate, when you know how they function, when you know when to use them and when not to use them, you will be able to flow better in your English. When you make any mistake in the application of this linguistic element, that is when you commit grammatical blunder. For example, you cannot say you is coming, or you cannot say is you going, simply because you're referring to one person. There is a rule in English that will nullify what you have said because you have not even spoken correctly. So when you commit mistake like that, they will say you have committed grammatical blunder. But when you understand how these rules operate, it will be easy for you to speak English very well and very fluently. And now to begin, in English, we have scale of linguistic elements. All these elements are in different types, and that is why we have decided to make them scale of linguistic elements. They have ranks, and the least of all these elements is the phoneme. In English, there is something called phoneme, just as you have in every language, but because we are solely concerned with English, we want to let you know that in English, there is something called phoneme. And by definition, it says the smallest indivisible unit of sound in a language. The smallest indivisible unit of sound in a language. For example, in English, you have a sound like this is sound. That is phoneme. In your language, you could also have this sound. So that means in your language, this is a phonemic sound or phoneme. Do you understand? Yes. Now, when you have the next one, the combination of different phonemic sounds or the combination of phoneme will give you something else called morpheme. And morpheme simply means the smallest unit of meaning a word can be divided into. For example, you have the word boy, and you have boys. Boys is one word, but it has two meanings. You have boy, and then you have the additional S, which makes it boys. Do you understand? Now, after phoneme, I'm just moving very fast because that is not even where we're going. We have syllable, and syllable has to do with the smallest unit of word which can be pronounced in one breath. When you have a word like teacher, teacher, T is one syllable, ch is another syllable. So in teacher, you have two syllables. And when you have the combination of syllables will produce what is called word. And when you are talking about word, you're talking about the smallest unit of language that can express meaning in isolation. The smallest unit of language that can express meaning in isolation. Now, this is where the journey will begin. When you look at it from the beginning, you discover that phoneme has smallest unit. Morpheme, smallest unit. Word, smallest unit. Now, we have decided to make it like this so that it will be very, very easy and convenient for you to understand and to grasp. Now, talking about these words, we have different words in English. So every language has words, just as English also has a lot of words. And I want you to know that there is no word in English that does not have class. We are still going back to that. Now, when you talk about the combination of words, again, we produce another linguistic or language element, and that is called phrase. Now, this is the first group. That is why you have it as group one. That is the first group of words. And phrase will give you a group of words expressing an idea but cannot form a complete meaning. You have a group of words. You have decided to combine certain words, but this combination of words cannot produce full meaning, but they will give you an idea. For example, when you have something like the man, the man, the man what? What has happened to the man? The man, yes. The man, yes. It's an idea. You know that the man is talking about a precise man, but you cannot connect articulately an extended meaning to these two words, the man. So that kind of combination you refer to as phrase. It's a group of words. It has more than one word. So it has two or more, but it cannot give you meaning. That is another language element. You have another one, which is group two, and you refer to that as clause. That is a group of words expressing an idea and sometimes forming a complete sentence. It is not in all instances that clauses form complete meaning. You can have something like, although they came late, then what? Unlike they all left. Complete. They all left. Complete sentence. So when it comes to clause, it could have a complete meaning or incomplete meaning, but it will express idea. And the last one happens to be sentence, and that is the goal. That is the group three, the third group of word combinations. So we have a group of words expressing an idea or ideas and forming a complete meaning. That is when you have the man is good, the man is great, complete word. And that is why you can even have as a sentence combination of different clauses to form just one sentence. Now, this is where we are going. This is the focus. When you are able to use this last linguistic element very articulately, there is no way you will not be able to use English to communicate whatever idea you have in mind. You'll be able to use English to express your thoughts. You'll be able to use English to express your opinion. You'll be able to use English to communicate well wherever you find yourself. But before we get to that, because we are learning we are learning English, we cannot just jump like that. It takes process, and the process is going to take a long one, because we understand that we need to take it line upon line, stage upon stage. And for the purpose of this class, for us to be able to understand better and to flow well, we're going to start from word. I believe that these parts are very simple. They are very simple. They are important, but they are not as important as this. This phoneme is also important because this is the part that will enhance and enable your accent in English, the way you pronounce words, the way you the way sounds in English are combined to pronounce the right word. When you understand phoneme, you'll be able to pronounce words very well. But if you would remember, I told us the last time in the last class that what is important about learning English is not actually you trying to learn the accent. The accent is good, but when you understand the grammar, when you understand the rules that govern the use of the language, then you will flow better. And then the part of accent can now come in. But what is important is learn the grammar first, and every other thing that you need to know will join later. And for us to understand the grammar, that is the rules that systematically guide the combination of linguistic elements into larger units, for us to understand that, we need to understand the words in English. And I want to believe that as a learner of English, when we see certain words in English, we'll be able to pronounce, even when we cannot combine these words to make meaningful sentences, but we can just we can identify some words. And this is why we're going to move to this part. And this part, which is the part of word, the smallest unit of language. Remember, we're talking about language, precisely English language. So we're going to begin to deal with the smallest unit of language that can express meaning in isolation. So we want to begin by dissecting the word rank. And for you to understand this, you need to understand that every word in English has a particular class. There is no word in English that does not have its class. That is why even in your language, whatever language it is you speak as your first language, every word you speak in that language has a particular grammatical class. It has a particular part of speech. In English, there are 9 classes of words or part of speech. So it's either you use classes of words or parts of speech. That is, the parts that every word belongs, every word you say belongs to a particular class. For example, when you have a word like the man is good, the has a class. Man has a class. Is has a class. Good has a class. Now, when you are able to identify the class each word belongs, that is when it will be easy for you to be able to identify the function of that word in the construction of the language you are using to communicate, probably through writing or through speaking. Do you understand the point? When you understand the class the word you are speaking in English belongs, it will be very easy for you to identify where, how to use the word and how it's going to function. And so we have 9 classes of words in English, and they are noun, verb, pronoun, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, interjection, and determiner. And out of these 9 classes, we have 4 vocabulary words and we have 5 grammatical words. Talking about vocabulary words, when you are learning new words, when you have learned English to a point and you want to improve your vocabulary, vocabulary simply means words, the words you know, words. So when you want to build more words, you want to add more words to the words you know in English, it is called vocabulary development. You are developing your vocabularies. And most times, when you want to learn more words, you learn these 4 classes: noun, verb, adjective, and adverbs. For example, when you see someone and you want to give your comment and you say something like, that lady is beautiful. If you don't want to use the word beautiful, you can have that lady is pretty, and it will still convey the same meaning. So that is to tell you that, and when you look at the word pretty and beautiful, these two words are adjectives because you are using them to qualify a particular noun. But when we get there, we're going to sort those aspects out. But I just want you to know that there is no word you are going to speak in English that does not have a class. So when you say the man is good, the falls under determiner. Man falls under noun. Is falls under verb. Good falls under adjective. So there is no word you want to speak in English. Think of any word, they fall under any of these categories. And I want to tell you that when you are able to understand placing words where they belong, you'll be able to use them well. So in our next class, we are going to talk more extensively on these classes of words, and we're going to be picking them one after the other, and then you're going to see how they function and how you can use them, and we're going to have a lot of examples. So this is where the class will end today, and I want you to subscribe. If you have not subscribed, I want you to subscribe to our channel so that you will be the first to have notification. So see you again next